The silence stretched across the bridge of the Calarian research vessel Nebula's edge like a suffocating blanket. Captain Zara vented stared at the tactical display, her four eyes blinking in synchronized confusion. The human signal had simply stopped. Navigator Jex, confirm the readings, Zara commanded, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had survived 3 galactic conflicts. The young Calarian's tentacles danced nervously across his console. Confirm, Captain. Human designation Marcus Chen. Call sign Hunter 7. Ceased all movement at exactly 0204 hours. No energy signature, no thermal output, no electromagnetic emissions. Nothing. Dr. Voss Krimmel, the ship's xenobiologist, chittered anxiously from his station. His insectoid features twitched as he processed the data. This is impossible. Humans don't simply stop existing. Their metabolisms are too aggressive, too chaotic. Zara's mandibles clicked together in frustration. They had been tracking the human for 6 standard hours through the abandoned mining complex on Zirian Prime. The facility had been overrun by Skarlex raiders 2 days ago, and the Galactic Council had dispatched their vessel to assess the situation. What they found was a massacre. 47 Skarlex warriors, each one a 3-meter-tall killer machine, lay dead throughout the complex. And one human had done it all. Sir, Security Chief Grix Moldane interrupted, his crystalline form refracting the bridge's ambient lighting. Perhaps the human has finally succumbed to his injuries. Our scans indicated significant trauma. Zara's laugh was bitter. You clearly haven't studied human physiology, Grix. This species doesn't quit. They don't surrender. And they certainly don't die quietly. The truth was, none of them truly understood what they were dealing with. Humans had only joined the Galactic Federation 18 months ago, and their reputation preceded them like a supernova. Deathworlders, they called them, born on a planet so hostile that simply surviving childhood created apex predators. Marcus Chen was no ordinary human, either. The file Zara had read painted the picture of a Special Forces operative who had single-handedly cleared hostile territories that would have required entire battalions of regular Federation troops. His psychological profile was a maze of controlled aggression, tactical brilliance, and something the human psychologists called righteous fury. Captain, Communications Officer Lyra Teswin's melodic voice cut through the tension. We're receiving a distress signal from the mining complex. It's not human. Zara's blood chilled. Skarlex. Affirmative. Multiple sources. They're screaming, sir. The bridge fell silent, except for the hum of the ship's systems. Skarlex didn't scream. They were apex predators from their own Deathworld, beings that had conquered 17 star systems through pure brutality. They feared nothing. Nothing except, apparently, one motionless human. Enhanced audio, Zara ordered. The speakers crackled to life, filling the bridge with sounds that would haunt the crew's dreams for cycles to come. Guttural roars of panic, rapid-fire chatter in the Skarlex tongue, and underneath it all, a primal terror that transcended species barriers. Dr. Krimmel translated, his voice shaking. They're saying the ghost hunter has awakened. They're organizing search parties, but they're terrified to leave their defensive positions. Ghost hunter, Grix's crystalline structure pulsed with nervous energy. Zara accessed her tactical knowledge base. Human military doctrine, stealth operations, psychological warfare. The pieces began assembling in her mind like a weapon being loaded. Oh, gods of the void, she whispered. He's not injured. He's not dead. He's hunting. The realization hit the bridge crew like a physical blow. Navigator Jex's tentacles went rigid. Dr. Krimmel's chittering intensified to a near-panic frequency. Even the normally composed Lyra's bioluminescent patches flickered erratically. Sir, Grix ventured, perhaps we should retreat to a safe distance and request backup from the Federation fleet. Zara's mandibles clicked in what humans would recognize as a grim smile. Backup? Grix, we're the backup. The Skarlex sent their elite force to take this facility. 47 of their finest warriors. One human eliminated them all, and now he started on their reinforcements. The communications array crackled again. This time, the Skarlex voices carried a different tone. Confusion, growing panic. They had found something. "Translation, Doctor," Zara demanded. Krimmel's voice was barely above a whisper. "They found one of their sentries. His head was removed with surgical precision. No struggle, no noise, no witnesses." The tactical display updated automatically, showing heat signatures throughout the mining complex. 43 Skarlex life signs clustered in defensive positions. And still, absolutely nothing from Marcus Chen. "How does a human simply vanish?" Jex asked, his professional composure cracking. "Their thermal signatures are massive. Their electromagnetic footprint is enormous. They're loud, aggressive, obvious creatures." Dr. Krimmel pulled up human military footage on his secondary screen. Videos of human soldiers moving through hostile terrain like living shadows. Footage of special operations teams eliminating targets without a sound. Archives of psychological warfare campaigns that had broken enemy morale without firing a shot. "You're thinking of civilian humans," Krimmel said, his voice filled with newfound respect and terror. "This is a predator. A weapon forged by 18 years of Deathworld survival and refined by human military training. We're not tracking a person anymore. We're tracking pure, concentrated lethality." Zara stood, her full 2-meter height imposing against the bridge's backdrop. "Status report. All stations. Weapon systems online," Grix reported. "Shields at maximum," Jex confirmed. "Long-range scanners detecting multiple Skarlex vessels approaching the system," Lyra announced. "ETA 6 hours. And still no sign of Hunter 7, Zara concluded. "Gentlemen, we're about to witness something unprecedented in galactic history. A single human operative conducting a military campaign against a force that outnumbers him 50-1. The communications array exploded with activity. Skarlex voices overlapping, panic spreading like wildfire through their ranks. Dr. Krimmel worked frantically to translate the chaos. Multiple casualties reported. Sentries found dead. No energy weapon signatures. No explosive residue. They're being eliminated with primitive weapons. Knives. Improvised tools. Bare hands. Security Chief Grix's crystalline form dimmed. How is this possible? The Skarlex are wearing full combat armor. Energy shields. Personal force fields. Krimmel translated in real time. All units maintain defensive positions. The human predator is using our own tactics against us. He's turning our hunting ground into his killing field. Under no circumstances should any warrior operate alone. The irony wasn't lost on the bridge crew. The Skarlex, a species that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries, were now cowering in defensive positions, afraid to move, afraid to hunt, afraid of being hunted. "Captain," Lyra's voice carried a note of awe, "I'm detecting significant changes in the atmospheric composition within the mining complex. Stress pheromones, fear chemicals. The Skarlex aren't just scared, they're experiencing species-level terror." Zara nodded grimly. "Update the ship's log. Time, 03:15 hours. Human operative Marcus Chen has successfully transitioned from conventional warfare to psychological warfare. Enemy forces are experiencing combat effectiveness degradation due to fear-based paralysis." Navigator Jex looked up from his console, confusion evident in his expression. "Sir, if a human is conducting a terror campaign, why maintain complete silence? Surely psychological warfare will be more effective with threats, taunts, demonstrations of power." Dr. Krimmel answered before Zara could respond. "Because silence is a threat. The unknown is more terrifying than the known. Every second that passes without contact increases their fear. They know he's there. They know he's hunting. They know their comrades are dying. But they don't know when, where, or how they'll be next." The tactical display updated again. 38 Skarlex life signs now. 5 more had simply vanished while they watched. "Gods of the Void," Grix whispered. "He's eliminating them faster than our sensors can track." Zara felt a chill run through her exoskeleton. She had fought in 3 galactic conflicts, commanded vessels in the darkest regions of space, faced down enemy fleets that outnumbered her 10-1. But watching a single human systematically dismantle a Skarlex force was unlike anything in her experience. Sir, Communications Officer Lyra announced, incoming priority transmission from Galactic Command. On screen, Admiral Rax Thornfield's weather features appeared on the main display. The human officer's scarred face and steel-gray eyes spoke of decades of military service. Captain Ventis, status report. Admiral, your operative is effective. Thornfield's expression didn't change. Casualties. Skarlex casualties continue mounting. Your man has eliminated over half their force without making a sound. For the first time, the human admiral smiled. It wasn't a pleasant expression. Captain, you're witnessing why humanity earned its place in the Federation. Marcus Chen isn't just conducting a military operation. He's demonstrating why apex predators from Deathworlds don't need superior numbers, advanced technology, or favorable odds. They just need motivation. Zara's mandibles clicked nervously. Motivation, sir? The Skarlex made a critical error when they chose Zirian Prime for their raid. They killed 17 human colonists in that mining facility. Civilians, families, children. The bridge fell silent. Even the ship's environmental systems seemed to quiet in response to the Admiral's words. You see, Captain, there's something about human psychology that other species struggle to understand. We don't just fight to win. We fight to ensure that certain lines are never crossed again. Marcus Chen isn't eliminating enemy combatants. He's delivering a message to every Skarlex warrior in the galaxy. What message? Zara asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. Admiral Thornfield's smile grew colder. That there are consequences for killing human children. And those consequences are named Marcus Chen. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge crew to contemplate the implications. Zara looked at the tactical display, showing the dwindling Skarlex numbers, and realized they weren't watching a battle. They were watching justice. And somewhere in the dark corridors of that mining complex, a human predator continued his silent hunt, moving like death itself through the shadows, collecting payment for crimes against innocents. The clock showed 0341 hours. Marcus Chen had been motionless for exactly 97 minutes, and the galaxy would never be the same. Captain Zara Ventis found herself holding her breath as the tactical display updated once more. 22 Skarlex life signs remained, clustering what appeared to be a desperate last stand near the mining complex's main processing facility. The silence from Hunter 7 continued, stretching into its third hour like a predator's patience. Captain, Dr. Krimmel's voice cracked with tension. I'm detecting massive spikes in stress hormones in the remaining Skarlex forces. Their biochemistry suggests they're approaching complete psychological breakdown. Navigator Jex's tentacles trembled as he adjusted his controls. Sir, 3 more life signs just vanished. They're dropping off our sensors faster than before. Security Chief Grix's crystalline form pulsed with nervous energy. How is this possible? Our scanners are military grade. Nothing should be able to eliminate targets this efficiently without detection. Communications Officer Lyra suddenly straightened at her station. Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from inside the complex. It's not Skarlex. Zara's 4 eyes focused intently. Human? No, sir. It's a recording device. Emergency beacon. Put it through. The bridge speakers crackled to life, filling the space with the terrified voice of a Skarlex warrior. Dr. Krimmel translated simultaneously, his chittering barely controlled. Day 3 of occupation. The facility is secure. The human colonists have been eliminated as ordered. We control all strategic positions. Victory is complete. A pause in the recording, then the same voice, but different. Panicked. Desperate. Emergency log. The human soldier, he's not fighting like the others. He's hunting us. Thrax is dead. Clagger is dead. They were standing right next to me, and then silence. No energy weapons. No explosions. Just silence. Another pause. The sound of heavy breathing filled the bridge. He knows our positions. He knows our patrol routes. He's studied us. By the void, he's been studying us. Every move we make, every decision we reach, he's 3 steps ahead. This isn't war. This is extermination. The recording ended abruptly. Dr. Krimmel's insectoid features twitch violently. Captain, that recording was made 47 minutes ago. The warrior who made his life sign disappeared 32 minutes ago. Zara felt her exoskeleton tighten with tension. He's been hunting them for hours, and they only now realized what was happening. Sir, Lyra announced, incoming transmission from the Skarlex fleet approaching the system. A new voice, deeper and more authoritative, cut through the chatter. Admiral Krulon speaking. One human soldier cannot eliminate an entire Skarlex regiment. You will hold position and eliminate the threat. Reinforcements are en route. The response was immediate and desperate. Sir, this human is not like the others. He fights without honor, without revealing himself, without giving us a chance to die in battle. He kills from shadows. He uses our own environment against us. He's turning our strength into weakness. A long pause filled the speakers. Explain. He's using the mining tunnels. He appears, eliminates targets, and vanishes before we can respond. But it's not just his tactics, sir. He's changing us. Our warriors are afraid to move, afraid to patrol, afraid to leave defensive positions. He's broken something inside us. Zara exchanged glances with her crew. The implications were staggering. The Skarlex were apex predators from their own Deathworld, beings that had conquered civilizations through pure aggression. Fear wasn't supposed to be in their psychological makeup. Captain, Grick spoke quietly, I'm detecting movement on the tactical display. The remaining Skarlex forces are abandoning their defensive positions. Retreating? No, sir. They're running. Random directions. No coordination. No military discipline. Complete panic. The communications array exploded with overlapping voices. Skarlex warriors screaming orders, calling for backup, reporting contact with invisible enemies. Dr. Krimmel could barely keep up with the translations. Multiple contacts, no. False alarm wait. Whereas Sergeant Thok, he was here a second ago, thermal sweep negative, acoustic sweep negative by the void, he's gone. Navigator Jex's voice cut through the chaos. Sir, I'm reading massive energy signatures approaching from hyperspace. The Skarlex fleet is dropping out of FTO. Zara checked her chronometer. They're early. Fear has accelerated their timeline. Captain, Lyra announced, incoming priority transmission from the lead Skarlex vessel. Admiral Krulon wants to speak directly with us. On screen, the main display filled with the imposing figure of Admiral Vex Krulon. 3 meters of armored muscle, scarred hide, and predatory intelligence. His yellow eyes burn with barely controlled rage. Calarian vessel, you'll provide immediate assistance in eliminating the human terrorist on the surface. Zara's mandibles clicked with what humans would recognize as amusement. Admiral, our mission is observation and assessment. We are not authorized to intervene in ground operations. Then you will observe the systematic extermination of your allies' forces. Actually, Admiral, Zara replied smoothly, we've been observing the systematic extermination of your forces. Quite educational, really. Krulon's roar of rage shook the communications array. One human cannot defeat a Skarlex regiment. Sir, Dr. Krimmel interrupted, checking his tactical display. The count is now down to 11 Skarlex life signs. Krulon's expression shifted from rage to confusion to something approaching fear. 11? We deployed 47 elite warriors plus 23 reinforcements. Yes, Zara confirmed. And they've all been eliminated by one human operative who hasn't moved from his position in over 3 hours. The silence stretched across the communications link like a drawn blade. That's impossible, Krulon whispered. Admiral, Zara said, her voice carrying the weight of someone delivering a terminal diagnosis. You're dealing with a human special forces operative whose family was killed by your ground forces. In human military doctrine, this creates what they call a highly motivated individual. We've been watching him conduct what appears to be a masterclass in asymmetric warfare. But our thermal scans, our acoustic sensors, our electromagnetic detection arrays are designed to locate enemies who fight conventionally. This human isn't fighting. He's hunting. And apparently, Deathworld predators are remarkably good at hunting. The tactical display updated again. 8 life signs remained. Admiral Krulon's voice carried a note of desperation. We're deploying additional forces. Full battalion strength. Heavy weapons. Orbital support. Admiral, Zara interrupted. With respect, I don't think you understand what you're dealing with. This isn't a military engagement anymore. This is a predator protecting his territory and collecting blood debt for his pack. Pack? There's only one human. Dr. Krimmel looked up from his xenobiology database. Admiral, human pack bonding extends beyond physical presence. When humans form emotional attachments to other humans, they consider them family. When family members are killed, the surviving human experiences what their psychologists term protective rage. They don't just seek revenge. They seek to ensure the threat can never harm other pack members again. What does that mean in practical terms? Zara checked the tactical display. 5 life signs. It means, Admiral, that Marcus Chen isn't trying to win a battle. He's trying to send a message to every Skarlex warrior in the galaxy. That message appears to be working. The communications array crackled with new transmissions from the surface. The remaining Skarlex warriors were no longer maintaining radio discipline. Their voices carried pure primal terror. He's in the walls in the air vent. He's everywhere and nowhere. Corgan just disappeared. His armor is here, but he's gone. How do you fight something you can't see? Admiral Krulon's massive form seemed to shrink before their eyes, requesting immediate extraction of ground forces. Denied, came a new voice over the communications array. Zara recognized the vocal patterns immediately. Human, military, authority. This is Admiral Thornfield of the Federation Fleet. Admiral Krulon, your forces have committed crimes against civilian populations under protection of the Galactic Accords. Extraction is denied until justice has been served. This is genocide. Krulon roared. No. Thornfield's voice was ice-cold calm. This is accountability. Your warriors killed 17 civilian colonists, including 6 children under the age of 10. One of those children was Marcus Chen's daughter. The bridge of the nebula's edge fell into absolute silence. Even the ship's environmental systems seemed to pause in recognition of the magnitude of that revelation. His daughter, Zara whispered. 8 years old, Thornfield confirmed. Her name was Sarah. She wanted to be a xenobiologist when she grew up. She had collected samples of every mineral species in the complex. She was excited about meeting alien species and learning about their cultures. The tactical display showed 3 life signs remaining. Admiral Krulon's voice was barely audible. We didn't know. You didn't ask, Thornfield replied. You classified them as acceptable casualties in a resource acquisition operation. Marcus Chen has classified your warriors as acceptable casualties in a justice operation. 2 life signs. The final Skarlex transmission was a whisper in their native tongue. Dr. Krimmel translated with tears in his compound eyes. Tell my spawn. Tell them I died with honor. Tell them the human ghost finally found me. 1 life sign. Then silence. The tactical display showed no Skarlex life signs remaining in the mining complex. 70 elite warriors, eliminated by a single human operative who had never moved from his original position. Admiral Krulon. Admiral Thornfield's voice filled the communications array. You now understand why humanity earned its place in the Galactic Federation. We don't start wars, but we finish them. And we remember those who harm our children. The Skarlex Empire will not forget this massacre. Good, Thornfield replied. That's the point. Every time a Skarlex warrior considers harming human civilians, they'll remember the name Marcus Chen. They'll remember what happens when apex predators are given personal motivation. Captain Zara found her voice. Admiral Thornfield, what happens now? Now, Marcus Chen goes home to bury his daughter, and the galaxy learns that there are lines that should never be crossed. The communications array went quiet except for the hum of ship systems. Zara looked at her crew, seeing her own mix of awe and terror reflected in their faces. Sir, Navigator Jack spoke carefully. I'm detecting movement on the surface. Human life sign approaching the facility's main entrance. After 4 hours of perfect stealth, Yes, sir. He's walking in the open. No attempt at concealment. Dr. Krimmel accessed the surface cameras, displaying the view on the main screen. A lone figure emerged from the mining complex's shadows. Human, male, covered in the dark stains of recent combat, moving with the measured pace of someone whose work was finished. Marcus Chen walked toward the camera with the steady gait of a man carrying unbearable grief and terrible purpose. His face was stone. His eyes were empty. His hands were clean. Recording final log entry, he said, his voice carrying clearly across the communication channel. Skarlex raiding force eliminated. Threat to human colonies neutralized. Justice served for the 17 civilians murdered on Zirian Prime. He paused, looking directly into the camera. To any species watching this recording, humans don't seek war. We seek peace. But we remember our dead, and we protect our children. Choose your actions accordingly. The transmission ended. Zara slumped in her command chair, feeling the weight of what they had witnessed. Navigator, set course for Federation space. Prepare a full report for Galactic Command. What should we include in the report, sir? Zara considered the question for a long moment. That we observed a demonstration of human military capabilities. That human protective instincts make them exceptionally dangerous when their families are threatened. And that the Skarlex Empire just learned why apex predators are called apex predators. As the nebula's edge powered up its FTL drives, Zara took one last look at the tactical display. The mining complex on Zirian Prime was quiet now, peaceful, the way it had been before the Skarlex arrived, the way it would remain, because one human father had decided that some prices were worth paying, some lines were worth defending, and some memories were worth avenging. The stars stretched into lines as they jumped to hyperspace, carrying the news that would spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Humanity had officially announced its presence on the galactic stage, and the announcement had been written in the blood of those who threatened human children. The message was clear, simple, and utterly terrifying. We remember, we protect, we avenge, and we never, ever stop hunting those who harm our young. The universe had been warned.